You're sitting across from them. The TV is on. Neither of you is speaking. You watch them scroll on their phone, and suddenly, your chest tightens. You feel the quiet that fills a room when two people stop trying to reach each other and just exist in the same space. You feel completely alone. Why does this keep happening? Is this just what long-term love feels like? Am I the problem? The relationship didn't get harder because your love faded. It got harder because your safety did. You're not failing at love. Every couple that has ever loved each other has stood exactly where you're standing. By the end of this video, you will understand the 7 silent signs they are secretly in love with you, and you'll know exactly how to reach them again. Let's get into it. Most couples believe that when a partner pulls away, it means they are losing interest. But the real truth is that your partner's nervous system is reading you before their mind can catch up. When safety leaves a relationship, the love doesn't disappear, it goes underground. What looks like stonewalling is usually someone who has been so overwhelmed that silence is their only protection. Most people try harder without changing the emotional tone, which just makes a withdrawn partner retreat further. Here's the thing. Criticism always feels like rejection, even when delivered calmly. You don't drift apart because you stopped caring. You drift apart because you stopped being curious about each other's internal world. This isn't incompatibility. It is the anxious avoidance cycle playing out between two people who actually want the exact same thing. The micro-attunement. Most couples miss the tiny bids for connection, but beneath the surface, their nervous system is scanning for safety. When they remember how you take your coffee, their brain is quietly registering, "I am still paying attention to them." Most people ignore these small moments. It is the unspoken, tiny moments that build the foundation of real love. The disconnecting version says, "Whatever, you can get it yourself." The connecting version says, "I already made yours, it's on the counter." And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. The protective pause. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples react instantly during conflict, but an emotionally available partner pauses. Their nervous system acts like a smoke detector, so they regulate themselves first. You hear them think, "I need to calm down so I don't hurt them." Most people yell or shut down. The disconnecting version snaps, "You always do this." The connecting version says, "I'm feeling overwhelmed, but I'm not leaving. Give me 10 minutes." That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. The vulnerability hangover. Most people in relationships fear looking weak, but real intimacy requires dropping the armor. When they share a deep fear, they feel exposed. What's moving through them is, "Please don't use this against me later." Most couples offer toxic positivity. The disconnecting version says, "You're overthinking it, don't worry." The connecting version says, "Thank you for trusting me with that. I'm right here." And here's what changes everything. That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. The repair ritual. Not louder conversations, not more compromising, not scheduling a weekly check-in, but two people who actually feel safe enough to repair. Most couples let resentment build. Emotional distance isn't a wall. It's scar tissue forming over 100 unrepaired moments. When they initiate repair, they feel, "I value us more than my ego." Most people wait for the other to apologize. The disconnecting version says, "I guess we're moving on then." The connecting version says, "I'm sorry I snapped earlier. Can we try that again?" That's when the cycles of drift finally stop. The space holding. Most couples view needing space as a threat, but holding space is an act of deep presence. When they need to decompress, their nervous system is just resetting. They feel, "I need to find myself again so I can be fully here with you." Most people take it personally and pursue harder. The disconnecting version says, "Why are you pulling away from me?" The connecting version says, "Take all the time you need. I'll be right here when you're ready." And when you do that, the longing to reconnect naturally replaces the urge to control, the unspoken turning. This is where it gets really interesting. Most couples miss the bids for attention. Turning toward is the foundation of connection. When they point out a bird outside, they are asking for presence. Their inner voice is saying, "Do you see what I see?" Most people stay glued to their screens. The disconnecting version says, "That's nice," without looking up. The connecting version says, "Oh wow, look at the colors on it. Good catch." That's when your partner stops feeling invisible and starts feeling deeply seen. The future weaving. Most people in relationships talk about the future as a logistical plan, but secretly weaving them into your future is a
profound sign of love. It signals permanent safety. When they say, when we retire, they feel, I can't imagine my life without you in it. Most couples keep their futures ambiguous to avoid pain. The disconnect